and then I'm going to introduce our CEO, Shemek. But let me first introduce myself, who I am. My name is Mark Yasabulian. I have over 30 years of experience in software and hardware in the Silicon Valley. And recently got to know Shemek. And the Shemek and their company is one of the fast-growing artificial intelligence workflow engine in Europe. They have customers, they have partners, well established, and now we are establishing a U.S. Subsidiary here in the United States, and I will be the person that will be in charge of that. So I'm going to be your local person. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Shemek. But one favor request: your input is very critical to us, and I have prepared one survey. So at the end of the program, good or bad, tell us if we did something right, great. If it's not, great. Give us your feedback. So we're going to appreciate it. Let's help yourself with coffees, and we're going to start. Go ahead. This is our CEO, Shemek.
Hi. Thank you, Mark, for the introduction.
You're welcome.
So I would like to tell a little bit about what we do, about our solution, also about our company. So first thing, I would like to say who we are. So we have 25 people in Poland. Company exists for 14 years, and we've been IT consulting company for years. We were deploying different systems like ERP, CRMs, SharePoint. I know SharePoint from the very first version, like 2001 was the first version of SharePoint. And we deployed different solutions also, BI, in fact, all kinds of enterprise software we were deploying. And I was deploying workflows from OpenText for over 7 years. And we realized that something new should be created because it was quite painful to deploy it, but I will talk about it later. So here are people who in our company. So Mark will be responsible for all the activities here. And we are already incorporated in Delaware with the office in Los Altos. So we have already customers. So these are customers using our software, AMODIT. So some of the companies are known in American market. So there are different sizes of companies. I will tell more about it later. I will show some case studies how customers are using our software. So what is the problem? What is the pain? If you know anything about business process management, you will quickly understand what the pain is. Now companies have lots of processes inside. Some of them are done in ERPs, like issuing invoices. Some are in CRM, which is usually just the contacting customers. But there are many other processes that go in companies, and the problem is that there is not so easy to support it. People need to handle it somehow, so they send lots of emails inside. In some corporations, people say that they spend half of their time just responding to emails. This is like the reality now in corporations. And there is lots of emails, lots of paper documents, because there are processes like lots of informal processes, lots of HR processes like vacation request, some invoicing, delegations, travel expenses, lots of things that are going on in the company. And according to research of Konica Minolta, 20% of work time is lost because people are looking for documents. They sometimes they cannot find the right version, the latest version of the document. So they need to do kind of investigation who has the latest version of the document. So there is lots of time lost, and time is money. So because it's the payroll, so the company lose lots of money. So the BPM was introduced. There is area when some companies already, some big companies, some smaller companies. This is Gartner's report, and there is special area which is called IBPM, which is Intelligent Business Process Management. And for example, Microsoft, who introduced some workflow functionalities in SharePoint, is not even on this report because they didn't change much for the last 7 years. There are some new companies, but also very big companies like IBM here. So, and we want to appear here. And this is why, because we have something completely new, which is workflow with artificial intelligence, I will explain how we do it. So, what you will learn during this workshop. First, what really is BPM. So, I think you already have some understanding what it really is. I will tell how artificial intelligence can help solve the problems that are connected with this area, and I will show real life examples of customers using our software, and also say about the promotion that we have. So first I will tell you what it's in it for you, and what is the workflow, what are the limitations of current systems, how we want to solve the problems, how to make it more dynamic, what does it give, and also I will discuss case studies later. We will do some live presentation, and if you want, you can connect your own laptops and you can play with the software. So this is the idea. But according to the first point, I would like to know a little bit more about you. So I can like divide potential people interested in our software into 3 groups. First is business users who could use it to improve the business. Second group is IT, who is using the software to help business. And the third group, system integrators who can really deploy the software. So if you just can tell me who is like the business user, potentially. Okay, one. Who is IT? Okay, and system integrator?
Sort of. I probably don't fit in any of your categories.
Okay, okay.
I'm looking for technology partners for your company.
Okay, okay. So yeah, perhaps you will fit to one of the categories. You will decide. Okay.
Actually, you will fit in all of them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's right. So why I'm asking it? Because there are like different kinds of users can get different benefits. For business people, the main problem is to avoid bottlenecks and delays. It can be done with many BPM systems, but our approach is easier to implement. I will show you. And the important part is to really control how the information flows. Because if everything is sent by email, you have no idea what people are sending. And you don't really know what are the processes in the company. And even if you know what are the processes, you don't know how exactly they are executed. And the important part for business people is to let business people control and create new processes without really asking IT people. Because if you talk to IT, it takes time before you can get something. And also creating reports on demand to really be able to do most of the work yourself. This is a very important part. Also get rid of paper documents and avoid losing documents, because really up to 10% of documents are lost somewhere. Of course, usually you can find the document, but it can be just too late. You just didn't find the right document on time. So what is for IT people? IT people are usually try to solve the business problems and deliver solutions for business people. So our software gives them more productivity, because it's very easy to implement, very easy to maintain. very quickly it is possible to deliver solution for the business. If there is a request, you don't need to go to your vendors, you can just do it yourself. And this is a very secure solution, and there's lots of things that can be done easily, but also many options to make it more complicated, like business rules engine, scripts, integration with other systems, and stuff like that. It can be done by IT. So, and the result is that the cost of ownership is slower. And what is for system integrators? If companies who, for example, we have 5 partners already, and they were doing different things like selling ERP systems, CRM systems, and they use our software because it really is something that opens door. Because you can talk to a customer and say, okay, we have something very new, very innovative, and then very quickly really deliver the solution, get customer involved, get customer satisfied, and then you can also do the integration and do other services. So there is lots of opportunities for system integrators. So what is like traditional way of modeling workflows? Usually there is an analyst who just comes to the office of customer and asks questions. How many processes you have? What are the processes? And it takes time because he needs to have lots of meetings, talk to people, make the analysis, create a document of process analysis. It can take months to really do it. And then the document is given to IT people. IT people need to implement it. And after a few months, you have the system ready to use, and people really can start working with it. So it takes lots of time. So what is the problem? The problem is that it takes lots of time, takes lots of money, and if the company is big, analysts cannot talk to all the people. Like if you have, let's say, 100 or 1,000 employees, you cannot talk to everybody. You just talk to selected people, so you don't get all the information, you don't get information about all the exceptions. So if you don't know it, you cannot put it to your analysis, and it will not be implemented. So later, people cannot do things that they were doing before the implementation. And this makes people feel uncomfortable. So people try to do something outside the system. We still start sending some emails outside the system, and you not really get the full advantage of the system. And if you want to make changes, you need to go through the same process. You need to ask analysts to make, analyze the changes, implement the changes, and it also takes time and money. So because of this, the processes become very static, and this is the problem. So we wanted to create something new, because this was the problem that I had many times. I had a situation when we were failing at the very beginning, just doing the process analysis. For example, there was a financial institution who wanted to implement workflow, and we made the evaluation of the cost of licenses. They said fine, because it was like $100,000. They said, okay, we can do it. But we said, okay, but what are your processes? And they said, we don't know. We need to ask somebody to make the analysis. They asked some consulting company, huge consulting company, and they said, okay, the analysis will take 1 year and will cost around $1 million. And they said, okay, let's close the project because it doesn't make any sense. So this was the situation that we're just really stopping the implementation at the very beginning. So our approach is different. We want to make, give people the way to very quickly start using it. People use, and this is like trampling paths on the grass. So people just walk wherever they want, and then you will see where are the paths, and then you can make pavements in these places. So people just work as they do every day, just send documents to each other. They can make decisions. So because if you ask someone, how do you work every day? What documents you send in? It's very difficult to tell exactly what you do every day. But if you do it, it's easy because you do it. System should learn from users, then make the analysis, show the diagrams, and if something changes, should be updated automatically by the system. So this is our approach, and we made 2 years of research on how to do it, how to use artificial intelligence to make it possible. And there are some more assumptions we make. People work as they want, system is learning. System also reads the document, so we have OCR. If you scan a paper document, we are doing OCR to take the text out of it. Then we use text mining technologies to compare documents. So if you, for example, at the reception, there is a new document, system will read it, and if it looks like a claim, system will suggest to send it to the claim department because it was done before. So it's comparing what was happening in the past, and then it's suggesting next decisions. And you'll also draw diagrams to show where are the bottlenecks, what are the elements of the process, what are the stages which take long time, so we can analyze it and optimize it. Even if the processes are already running, you can make changes to it. So this is very important for business people. So why this is better? By traditional approach, it can take like 6 months before you can start using the system, because you need to do analysis, programming, implementation, etc. And with our approach, we can very easily start. It can take like 2 weeks. Even after the first day, people can start using it. We make the workshop, just implement some like 1-2 processes, just not even putting all the details because it's not necessary for our software. People start using it, and then we can make it grow slowly and improve it later. So the business advantage is very quick, and then we can do the more complicated things like integration later. So this is very, very important. So it shortens implementation cycle a lot. So how is it possible? This is, if you look at this diagram, was drawn by the system. So in our software, you never draw diagrams yourself. System is drawing it for you. It's just taking information from you, from other users, and trying to draw it. So here you see that the blue boxes are the places which were already visited, and this is the current stage. You can see who was at every stage, who was responsible, how long did it take, and here, for example, you see this is the first number is actual time, and here is average time for this process. So we can check if this takes longer, or maybe it's quicker than usually. You can also see here is a log, which means that some manager doesn't want people to use this path. So we can block paths. We can also see this is an electronic signature here. So there was a kind of acceptance here. So there's lots of information that are shown here. And this, for example, this red arrow means that this was a predefined path, that when we was creating the process, we wanted people to use this path. But here, like this blue one, it means that was some kind of exception, and system just updated the diagram to show more possibilities. So also there is a like width of these arrows. It depends on how frequently people use these paths. And you can change level of details, and system is drawing. There are several algorithms for drawing. So system uses algorithms to show the diagrams. There is a real-time analytics because you after every change the diagram is updated, and system is also reading documents and can predict the next step. I will show it later on a live demo.
I'm sorry, I think you said, what is the box?
Yeah, this one. Oh, this is just the icon for the stage.
Oh, this works?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like we should,
Some
yeah, because it's like the. Yes, good question. Because it should be something that gives more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But this means that because the first is the stage and the second is the person. So, but if we have the picture of the person, we put the picture.
Okay.
So yeah, and we have no pictures for stages. Yeah, but it's a good point. We can put something more interesting here. That's right. Okay, so thank you for your feedback. So generally the technology below is quite complicated. So this is patent pending in US because it's completely new approach, and we have lots of reports because even if there are several ways to take data from the system. You can even connect your external reporting system, take data from database directly, but even or simply we can get the data to Excel file if we want. But the important part that we have lots of reports which are just to discover bottlenecks. So how long does it take to go from one stage to the other? Who are the slowest people? It doesn't mean that that's wrong something with the person. Maybe the person gets too many things to do, and we can optimize it somehow. So we can check slowest stages. We can see what is the main process. There are many cases in this process. So things like that, and we just have it just after we start.
So back to that slide,
Yeah.
I think a little bit more elaboration. What's the longest time that?
Yeah, for example, here this is we can see that we have the most used process is holiday request. Here is new customer setup, and there are like different procedures, and in fact, business users can start new procedures, create new processes. So we'll learn that they are doing something. Sometimes we don't even know because they are just there are like 5 people involved in the process. They just send information to each other, and we didn't even know it. And with the system, we will know because they will put the name of it, put some stages, and we can very quickly learn that there is some new process, and maybe there is like hundreds of information flowing, and we didn't even know it. So this is important. So what does it give? Benefits for organization. There is very quick deployment because we don't need to make the real process analysis. It will be done automatically later while people use the system. We will discover bottlenecks, so this is very important for optimizing processes. The system will adapt very quickly to changes because it will gather information from all the people using the system and will try to combine it to make the processes. And if something changes, everything will be updated automatically. So this reduces a lot total cost of ownership. So this is very important. So we really save time and money also. So benefit for managers. Managers will see exactly how their employees are working. So this is important because it gives you a possibility to really change something, to really make it better. If you don't know it, you cannot make any decision, you cannot optimize anything. So with this tool, you can really better allocate work between employees. And what's in it for regular users? System is suggesting decisions based on the history and the documents, so it makes just work easier and faster. And all the documents and processes are in the same place, so it's very easy to find something. Usually you don't even need to look for documents because if there is something to be done by you, you will receive the whole case with all this with the set of documents. So it's much easier. And if you are a new employee or you want to use something new that you never tried before, there is process and system will guide you what are the next steps. So it's much easier especially for new employees. So other key points. This is very easy. So our goal was to make it as easy as email. So you don't really need any training for regular users. They just put documents, send it as an email. The only thing that is different that they need to decide at which stage they are at the moment, because it's quite important. It's web-based, so it's very easy to start using it. You just get the address and start using it. There are multiple languages. We support several languages already, including English, Polish, German, and Arabic. Of course, it's quite easy to support additional languages. And we have lots of integrations, especially Microsoft SharePoint. Most of our customers use SharePoint because it's very popular for bigger organizations. And we have special version of the product that is module for SharePoint. So there's additional functionalities, because SharePoint has some I will talk about it later. But it's much better to use our engine because of the reasons I was telling you. And we have also integration with SAP, and we also integrate with other ERP systems and CRMs, because it's very common. For example, if you have a process, sometimes it is connected with your customers, so you want to have a list of customers taken from ERP system, for example. And we also have support for scanners. Even if it's like a table scanner, you connect it through USB to your laptop, or it's a network scanner and you put it somewhere in your office, it's very well supported. So a few case studies to show you how really customers use it. First is the American restaurants. So there's a company who is managing the American restaurants in Europe. It's like in several countries. This is they are using it now for 4,000 users, but if they will also connect all the people in the restaurants, it will be like 20,000 users. So just the first stage now. And important part is that they wanted to spend most of the time, like 80% of the time, just to choose the right solution, and then just 20% of the time to implement it. So they spent 1 year comparing 12 different BPM systems, and at the end they decided to deploy AMODIT because of its flexibility and the quick implementation. So if they invent something new, because there's it's lots of things that are changing in the organization, they can very quickly adapt. So there are some processes that are very complex, like opening new restaurant. So it's like 40 steps to really open new restaurant, and they open like 50 restaurants per year, new restaurants. So it's really growing very quickly. Of course, it's very important to get track of how you open the restaurant, but the process needs to be very easy to change, because they optimize the processes. Also, some more easier processes, like make a change in the restaurant's menu when they have something new on the menu. But also invoice acceptance, incoming and outgoing mail, lots of communications inside company. So this is like a very good example. Other example is Deutsche Bank is financial.
Back to the previous slide.
Yeah.
This is the previous slide. Yeah. So this is a perfect example of system integrator that takes multiple companies. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And really use AMODIT as a ways for them to.
Yeah, because this is like all the brands like Burger King, KFC, Pizza Hut. It's in Europe. It's in the States. There are separate companies. Here, it's like in Europe. It's just one company who is a franchise of all these brands, and they open lots of restaurants. And the company is growing so fast that they really need good tool to manage all the processes, because the processes are changing, and they really need to handle it. So it was a really good example. Another example is Deutsche Bank, because it's not even like huge institution, because like the headquarters of Deutsche Bank is not that big, but there are lots of processes inside. And the processes are changing, and this is mostly for internal communication. There are departments. For example, if the marketing department wants to make a promotion on credit cards, so they want to make the 1% lower rate for credit cards for 3 months. So someone invents it, someone else needs to describe it, someone else needs to accept it, they need to send to the other department to make the changes in some other systems, and confirm that they did it. Then after 3 months they need to put it all back. So there are lots of processes like that, and they have 50 different processes now. We help maybe with the 3 first processes, the rest was done by the customer. So it's lots of decisions, approvals, things like that are happening inside the organization. And the procedures are changing all the time, because this is how they work. Other case studies is Orlen. It's maybe not very known here, but it's like Chevron in Europe. It's a really huge oil company. It's biggest company in Poland, and they have 40 companies in a group, and they wanted to implement HR processes. They are using SAP, so they could do it in SAP, but the problem is that they would have to buy licenses for all employees. Even if there is an employee who needs to apply for vacation twice a year, they would need to buy the license. So it would be too expensive and too difficult to do it because it was not flexible. So we implemented our software. So we take the information about employees from SAP. All the processes are done in our system, and then the results are stored back to SAP. And there are lots of processes like changing position, salary, vacation requests, travel expenses, lots of things that are done in the organization. And this is, as I told you, is 40 companies with quite complex structure. Sometimes they have 4 or 5 levels of acceptance, depending of what's going to change. So we take all the structure of the company from SAP and we manage the processes. Other yeah?
So does that mean that they drop the SAP? They don't use the SAP after using
They use SAP HR to really do the hard stuff, like making documents, but all the processes of making decisions. For example, you want to, you did something good for the company and you should get the bonus. So there are several managers who need to approve it, and or for example, you want to have bigger salary. So there is also a process of acceptance, checking several things, and the result is stored in SAP. But the whole process of acceptance and gathering information is done by our software. So, yeah. So they still use SAP, and for sure they will use it. But it's 3,000 users using it. So if they would really build it inside SAP, they would have to buy 3,000 SAP licenses, which would be extremely expensive. And it doesn't make sense to buy a SAP license for someone who is using the process just 3 times a year. So that's and it's also about flexibility, because the services for SAP are also very expensive. Okay, so another example is T-Mobile. It is completely different kind of process, because it is bid preparation. For example, if there is a company and has 3 offices, they want to connect it, make some VPN or some internet connections. There's lots of information that need to be collected and sent to technical guys to check if it's really possible to do it. So they use our